and you're like, it's only 2 weeks away. So, but getting into or mock draft, I think I picked odds. So I think you'll pick odds this time.
You said I'll pick odds or you pick odds?
Yes, I think you're picking odds because I picked Will Johnson for you guys last week. So that means I was odds last week.
All right, sweet. Uh, Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami. Pretty easy. I mean, it's just gonna be this pick every time, Titans fans, and you're probably fine with it at this point. Uh, there's no point in doing any more analysis. If you want more analysis on this pick, go back and watch the other ones.
Exactly. Number two for me is going to be Travis Hunter. You can no longer bet on his odds on the team that is going to draft
Seriously?
him. Yeah, you can't bet. At least they've taken them down for the time being.
Ooh.
So it'll be interesting. But Travis Hunter again, they have a need at both positions. And you might as well try them both if you can.
Yeah, it's been funny to watch. Like, I know Adam Schefter gets spoon fed information from, like, agents and things like that. But, like, him getting all this information, like, the Browns, like a month ago, the Browns are absolutely going to use number two on a quarterback. And then it's the Browns are absolutely all in on Abdul Carter. And now there's no way that they don't draft Travis Hunter. I don't know if he's just at the mercy of it. I don't know if the Browns are just effing with him at this point, seeing what he will report, because he is also the one who did the Condoleezza Rice thing with the Browns. So could be a little bit of
Yeah.
that, but yeah, it's been funny to watch him like just talk about where the Browns are gonna go. The Giants, I'm gonna go a little bit different. I think it's probably Abdul Carter here, but hey, let's experiment with Mason Graham here. I think Mason Graham is a good enough player that you put next to Dexter Lawrence, has a different body type, and you could just create one-on-ones all across the line. Um, and frankly, it keeps Thibodeau on the team. If Thibodeau stops you from Abdul Carter, I don't think that's the right choice. But hey, we always do Abdul Carter here. I think mixing it up with Mason Graham adds some spice in our lives.
But Matt, he's so small. He weighed
It's
in
true.
under than what people thought he was. How dare you take three
It's
overall?
true. It's true.
Ridiculous, ridiculous. Very good player, very worthy of the spot again. Overthinking this guy at this point. Speaking of not overthinking, guys, Abdul Carter, the best player in the draft, just fell into my lap. Um, as a Patriots GM, I would be kind of dumb to not take Abdul Carter here. The easiest draft pick you'll ever see anyone make. They're probably sprinting that card into Roger Goodell as they see his name still on the board at four.
Absolutely, man. I think yeah, Carter. There's nothing that has to be said that hasn't been said already with Carter. I think we're both just freakishly blown away by his athleticism and what he could amount to. Like just the if Micah Parsons is the projection, he was a better producer in college than Micah Parsons. So it's fascinating. Um, the Jaguars, I think they can go a ton of ways. I think we do a lot of Mason Graham here, so this adds some interesting levels. Um, mm, I think I'm gonna go Tyler Warren here, just because I think this is his absolute ceiling as a player, and I think someone's just gonna like him in the top 10, and this is unconventional, maybe, but they lose Evan Ingram. You just want to keep continuing to pile more and more assets into Trevor Lawrence, your highest paid quarterback, and say you don't love Tetaroa McMillan as much as maybe we do. So
Yeah, the pick I made last week, you won't get any pushback. Brenton Strange will not push, will not stop you from taking a player of the caliber of Tyler Warren. Uh, that's the thing, right? Tedero McMillan still on the board here. Ashton GT's still on the board here. If you guys are not coming from the live stream, we just talked about our number one corner here. And it's a pick that I've seen people make more often now. I'm going to go Will Johnson. No, there's no one on that team that is going to stop you from taking him. They just cut Jack Jones as well. So that need just increased for them. And again, I think Will Johnson is one of the blue chippers in this draft. I know a lot of people are maybe come to getting used to taking a little bit of those two guys there, but spice it up a little.
Absolutely. You know what else is in the news lately? The Jets shopping Breece Hall because they're in on Ashton Genty, and in this mock draft, that becomes reality. So we're going to have Ashton Genty go 7th overall to the Jets, likely trading Breece Hall. Maybe we work at Breece Hall trade in this mock draft, but I doubt he gets traded for a first-round pick because he has to be paid immediately, and I doubt a team is giving up a first-round asset in this running back class to also pay him. So,
yeah, but I mean, might as well take the best offensive piece on the board here, especially with that news of Breece Hall. And you're making it easy for me. It was an easy pick for me at 4 with the Patriots, and it's gonna be another very easy pick for me here at 8. Go and get your quarterback weapons. You have the need. I know you guys just took Xavier Legette last year. But Tedero McMillan, how could you not? He's the number one wide receiver here in the class. Very easy selection.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like we've said that on all our, mock draft shows. Is just like this guy's overthought. I mean, he looks the part in every single way to be a standard X receiver and compete at a high level in the NFL. I know he said as a freshman he doesn't like to watch film, but I think we overestimate how much these guys are thinking about football as freshmen in college. The Saints, continuing the tea leaves, I'm going to go quarterback, and I'm going to go Shedeur Sanders. This one is interesting with the Saints. I have a very investment in the Saints, and I am not in on Shedeur being a top 10 pick. So this one is tough. I think the Saints should be in the business of getting good players and getting blue chippers, and I think Will Campbell is one of them. I think Starks could be one of them. I think, taking a swing on M'Boue is worth it. But there is nothing that benefits the Saints more than getting on a rookie quarterback contract in which that rookie quarterback is good. And if you believe this is your best shot to get one of these guys, get quarterback 2 at pick 9, then, call your shot. Because if he's good and it's right, you're not going to hear complaints from me. But that's my take on the Shedeur thing. I think his odds are the highest to go to New Orleans for a reason, because I think people are finally figuring out after pick 3, there's no spot here, and the Saints are doing a lot of quarterback stuff. They're searching a lot through the quarterback, so it'll be interesting if that happens.
Yeah, as you said, they've down the process as we get closer and closer, they've been linked to a couple of these guys. As you said, they're the odds-on favorite to draft them now. I think at like plus 350 or something like that. Jalen Milroe has came in for a private workout. So the drive is at least there, or at least they're showing the drive to take a quarterback. And one of the best ways to help out a new young head coach is by allowing him to get his guy at quarterback, especially an offensive-minded head coach, and allow him to kind of make his stamp on the organization and say, this is my team, this is what we're going to do. I could absolutely see it happening, much to my dismay, just because I'm in the same boat, not the biggest fan, but again, a good young quarterback on a rookie deal is the most valuable contract in all of sports. So here we are again, the same position that we find ourselves about 50% of the time with the Bears. Comes down to which tackle do you want? There's one that projects a little bit easier and probably has a little bit of a higher of a floor in Armand Membu. Um, or you have Will Campbell, who has the short arms, but probably has the higher upside and has shown the better ability to do it. I'm going to take the guy that has the best probability to be very, very good at that position, despite his short arms. That is Will Campbell. Stop it. We've seen tackles with short arms be just fine in the NFL. Will Campbell.
Absolutely. We keep benefiting the Bears here. It's hard to see the Bears missing all three players in Campbell, Genty, and Membu. I feel like there's a world it happens, and it's a world where, Tetero McMillan falls and things like that, and maybe, Tyler Warren isn't as overvalued as we believe he could be. But yeah, it feels like all these mock drafts, the Bears fall in, just someone falls in their lap to pair with Ben Johnson, their new head coach. This one's easy for me. The Niners. This is Walter Nolan. I think this team is. I was looking last night at the defensive tackle position for the Niners. For some reason, there is nothing there. And I think if you're building a Robert Salah defense, you need a rotation of guys like Walter Nolan who just pocket push the hell out of the quarterback. So sprint in Nolan. I think this could be an edge too, if you love one of the edge players here. But Walter Nolan feels like an easy pick right now.
Yes, absolutely. It's Jerry here at 12. I know Jerry likes to lean into the flash, get a skill position guy to help out. Dak is a lot of what you hear from Cowboys fans right now. But he does like to also draft the trenches. Like, this is not an uncommon thing. He likes to shore up that offensive line. For that reason, Armand Membu is probably the best fit that I see on the board. And I'm going to go with him. Just, again, continue to try to create a very, very good offensive line, have it not become a minus.
Yeah, the Dolphins are pretty ticked off that that's the pick there. Because I think with the recent news with Teron Armstead, I think tackle has to be the lean. Mentioned it at the top of the show. The only offseason acquisition at tackle they have made is Mary Borum. So this has to be a tackle. And, I want to take Simmons. I think I'm going to, just because I think he's such a stark comparison to what's on the board right now. But there are limitations. The injury stuff could be an issue early in his career, and especially if you're the Dolphins and you're sprinting him on the field, it could be really bad to start his career. And the only benefit is that if he plays left tackle, it is not the blind side to Tua Tagovailoa. So I'm gonna take Simmons, just fill the need at this point.
Yes. Tyler Warren is always the chalk pick here. And Tyler Warren is no longer here. Jahdae Barron's the best player on the board here, but they don't need help at the nickel. We're going to go safety. We're going to go Malachi Starks. I think this is probably the highest, or close to the highest, that we've had him drafted. There's no one within that backfield of the defense that is stopping you from taking a player that's the caliber of him, and there's a need at the position. Mm-hmm. Don't reach on other guys and just take what seems to be close to a sure thing in Malachi Starks.
Yeah, I mean, they go out, they sign Charvarius Ward, they sign Cam Bynum, they keep loading on Malachi Starks. Just, they are full in building the back end as powerful as they possibly can. I love it. The Falcons, I mean, it's edge rusher. No, it's Jod Campbell. I think he's too good on the board at this point at 15. Even with the shoulder injury, I know there's limitations there, but I'm taking the player for the long haul for the the 5-year contract, not you know
Before,
maybe he misses. What'd you say?
I was gonna say, is there any possibility that I can intrigue you in a trade up opportunity from 32? But that's all right.
No, no. Atlanta says too
That's all
far.
right. Which I don't blame them, especially with their need and the edge rushers that are going to be taken off the board before them. Um, that's my dream pick. As you see the Eagles, flag flying behind me. Um, there's a lot of buzz surrounding Jahad Campbell right now that people are a little bit more worried about his shoulder injury than once thought with his torn labrum. Don't overthink it. Is maybe the 1 year really worth passing up on a guy of his caliber? I don't think so. For the Cardinals, I really would have hoped to see Walter Nolan make it this far. He sadly did not. Will Johnson is gone. Kenny Grant might as well, again, continue to shore up the interior of that defensive line. It's in need of theirs. You can slide in and immediately be, a space eater. It was a conversation that we had today about, the benefit of having a guy that truly takes up 2 blocks and how much that benefits everyone else on the defense, from the edge rushing position, the linebacker position. It truly is one of those overlooked positions at times.
Yeah, the Bengals are crossing their fingers, and they're going to get the player they want. Shamar Stewart, athletic freak. You bring in Al Golden to develop defensive players. That is what Shamar Stewart is, an athletic freak that needs development. And so you're going to have to continue to take swings at the defensive positions because you pay Chase and you pay T. Higgins. And I think this is a worthwhile swing at pick 17.
Oh, absolutely. Me and you are much higher on him than consensus. So if they are able to make this pick at 17, I will be creating it as a very good selection for them. A little bit mad that you did take him here. I was hoping that, maybe you forgot about him and he was going to make his way to 18 for me, but we're going to kind of keep it in the same vein. As you'd mentioned, they like to take the more high-value positions. I'm going to go Mike Green here. Just go out, continue to build a very, very good pass rush. Again, it's no Shamar Stewart, but still a very good pass rusher.
Yeah, man. I keep seeing, I love Zabel, man. There's no way John Schneider's doing it at 18.
No.
I've watched this man giraffe for almost a decade. I think it's been more than a decade at this point. He does not do that. So I'm not expecting him to change his mind now. Tampa Bay is interesting because this is a sneaky team that doesn't have a lot of needs. Like, you look at the needs on here, and edge is their number 1 need, and Yaya Diaby and Hassan Reddick is a pretty decent duo. So I'm gonna take the swing on the defensive back, who I said I really, really liked, Savone Revel, here to pair with Jamel Dean. You can get him on the field into spurts early. Todd Bowles loves to be in attack and aggressive. I think this guy has the man coverage chops to be able to handle it early. But again, handle it in spurts, coming off the injury. Don't overdo it. But I think he's worthwhile, a top 20 pick.
Absolutely. And they've shown to at least be okay with drafting this archetype of player. I mean, 2 years ago, they took your guy in Zion. And I think they were totally okay with taking the smaller school, athletic, long player. And that's exactly what Revel is. I mean, if you're the Broncos, you can't be upset with the way the board has fallen. We're going to go out and we're going to get you wide receiver 2 all the way down at pick 20. That's Luther Burden. Another very easy selection for me at this point. You've done some work on the defensive end. You continue to show that up. So might as well go and get your young quarterback another good pass catcher.
Steelers are tough. Steelers are tough, man. I think like you look. I always wanted the PK thing makes it awkward. I still just want to get another pass catcher in the room because if they do what we all expect, and that's sign Rodgers, they're going for it. And I think you're trying to fill out every need possible. I think there's kind of two players here. I like Golden, I like Pierce, and I like Jalen Walker. So I'm gonna go with Walker here, a little earlier than we normally do, but you get him in that room, kind of profiles a little bit alongside Alex Highsmith. So if he could figure out and go from a tweener to throwing that athletic ability to the edge position, be another just rotational edge for them, I think it could be a worthwhile thing. We'll see if it happens.
Yeah, I like it. Again, the positions of need aren't, the players that are left on the board aren't really standing out to you. Mm-hmm. So might as well take the upside swing there. You're Harbaugh. There's a position of need here. That being said, for the sake of the argument, I'll have you be this other team. You look down at your phone and you see that there's an LA phone number calling. Did you look at that? It's Sean McVay. They want to move up and they want to get the same guy that you're drafting. What do you think? And I'll have you act as the Rams in terms of the trade compensation scenario. What would the Rams be willing to give up to move up 4 spots to get their guy in Colson Loveland?
If I'm trying, so you're saying the Chargers want Loveland?
Yes.
It'd probably take a 3 next year and then like 127.
And if I'm the Chargers, I am saying send that into the commissioner's office.
Yeah, I think the tax on that has to be ridiculous if you both like the player. I don't know how many times we've really seen that. I mean, kind of last year because Minnesota moved up that 1 pick and traded a lot of day 3 capital to move up 1 pick to secure McCarthy over the Broncos. So I think it would have to be something outlandish like this, and this looks like an overpay from the Rams' perspective. But if the Chargers want the same exact player, maybe for grins, we can send over pick 199. We know that pick turns out to be Hall of Fame status. So, but
yeah,
if that's the trade, again, we keep doing it. We keep doing the thing, but it continues to make too much sense. So, no, I like it.
Exactly. From the Chargers' perspective, would Harbaugh love to have had his guy in Colson Loveland? Of course, but you have other needs. If you get a 3rd-round pick to move back 4 spots and take another position of need, why wouldn't you? So
yeah.
Anyways, your pick at 23.
Yeah, the Packers are interesting. I mean, this is, do you believe Jahdae Barron can play on the outside? No, I don't. I'm going to go down, take my guy, A.Z. Thomas here. I think they need a guy to really step in and take over that spot that Jair is likely to be exiting. I think that's kind of the writing on the wall at this point. So I want to fill it with a high upside and a guy who can play on the field quickly in a pretty cornerback friendly scheme.
Yeah, absolutely. They have that need, and especially if me and you both don't project his ability to play outside. It makes sense for Jahdae Barron. I could be overthinking a guy here. But who is the nickel for the Vikings? Because I know Byron plays outside for them now.
I mean, I see Metellus mostly there.
Yeah. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do Janae Barron.
Okay.
We can move.
Yeah.
Josh Metellus be a little bit more of a box guy for them. And at this point, you're taking the best player available. You're in a position that you can do that because there's no glaring needs for you. And just take the best guy here. And it's not, I love Josh Metellus. Again, as you can see the Michigan flag behind me. But he's not going to stop you from taking him. And Josh Metellus is a good enough player that he can find a role somewhere else within the defense.
Absolutely. I think that this would be a good spot for Barron. If you can come in and have an ideal plan for him in the nickel, I completely get it. And with the way Flores just sends the house with his guys, Barron's going to fit like a glove. The Texans. So in a TikTok today, I said the floor of a player is this pick. And I always take Igbuka here, so we're going to take that player that I was talking about from Oregon. I think this guy, I don't know where, I can't predict where this guy is going to go. The gut feeling is he's going to go high. Because a guy with his raw athletic tools and how good he is as a pass blocker, those guys fly off the board. So we're going to find out where he goes. Right now, pick 25 is where I have him slotting in. But anywhere where, a team can just slot in a tackle, I think Pittsburgh would be one that thinks about it. The Packers are always a possibility to take O-line, but here at his absolute floor for me is Connor Lee in Houston.
Yes, absolutely. Again, they. Well, I'm wondering who you're referring to when you say that guy, because I had someone in mind. But who did you have in mind?
I had Igbuka.
Okay, so I have the same position, and it was really between Igbuka and Golden for me.
Okay.
The only issue with Igbuka is I'm wondering if the skill sets between him and Ladd overlap amongst each other too much. And it really comes down to how far do you guys have these separated on your board. If you have Igbuka in a different tier, then take Igbuka. I have Igbuka and Golden in the same tier. And since the skill sets are going to be different from one another, I'm going to go Golden. But it would be funny to see Harbaugh draft an Ohio State guy.
No, yeah, that'd be interesting because I'm thinking about it like the way they run the ball and the way they are so physically sound. I think they would prefer that attitude of Igbuka to Golden, and maybe that's the tiebreaker. Something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can go wrong there. If you want the speed and verticality, you go Golden. Ravens, I'm taking Table here. I think he again. I want it to happen. I'm low-key Ravens fan because of Lamar. Pairing one of my favorite draft players in the entire draft with him, and just the way he can get out in space in the run game would add even more elements to what they could do in the run game. So Zabel makes a ton of sense here.
Oh, absolutely. Again, Zabel's one of those players that has such a wide draft range. I could see someone taking him at the back end of the first round, or I could see him falling to the 40s. So it really is interesting to see the team that takes him. But yeah, absolutely love that pick. At this point, we've talked about it enough. I'm sure I could not say a single word, and you'd be able to make the exact selection that I would want here for the Lions. As he is doing it, it's Donovan Ezeraku. They have the need at edge. They need someone that can get after the passer. We saw it when Hutch went down, and Ezeraku's here. It's almost a perfect fit here. I would absolutely love it from a Donovan Ezraku fan. A little bit sad from the NFC fan, but love the fit and player here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Washington is interesting because like I'm looking at tackle because I know they like Brandon Coleman out of TCU they drafted last year, but they also have thought about kicking him over to the right side. They have the injury to Cosme already at right guard, so they're thin there already, and I think a guy like Donovan Jackson can play in a pinch on either side, but at the same time, the intriguing of just taking James Pierce Jr. like the devil on my shoulder is like just it's convincing me to do it because I think this player is too good for this stock. I like again, the interviews and the character concerns continue to be is the most damning thing of this player. But it's going to be fascinating to see where he gets drafted. I still have him in the first round because I think he's a first round player and I'm going to take him here, but again, this is a guy that with a crazy draft range. You talked about Zabel a minute there. Like, what were we mocking James Pierce early in this? In March? We were mocking him in, like, at 9 to the Saints.
Yeah.
And there's some people who put him at 60 to the Lions. So it's fascinating with him.
Absolutely. So speaking of the devil on your shoulder here, I kind of want to go Hampton here. I kind of want to go Hampton here. For those who are, you at first glance, you look at it and you're like, Marion Hampton to the Bills? What? That doesn't make any sense. They already have James Cook. But if you've been keeping up with the news, they just they do not want to re-sign him, especially at the price tag that he is asking for. He put his house up for sale at Orchard Park. And it's a pick that we haven't made, and I think they're a good enough team that even if you do keep James Cook around for another year or so, you can still work in Amarian Hampton into the offense and get another playmaker here. A fun pick that I have not seen at all, but with everything, in light of James Cook, I'm going to do it.
How crazy would that be? How crazy would that be if we had the Jets take Genty to trade Brees and the Bills take Hampton to trade James Cook? And that's the thing. I mean, I think we were at a point where the running back market was at a favorable price for teams, and now with Saquon and Jacobs and all these guys getting paid, now these younger guys are going, hey, we also want to break the market in theory. So give us the coin. And they're saying, Amarian Hampton's way too good at pick 30. The Chiefs, they're debating between which Ohio State prospect to pick. Do you want to take Ibuka, the quarterback, or the receiver, quarterback's best friend, or do you want to take Donovan Jackson, who also would be quarterback's best friend? I'm going to opt to the lineman, the inside-outside versatility. I'm sniping your pick here. Absolutely. But I think the inside-outside versatility for him makes a ton of sense for the Chiefs, who just traded away a guard, who have Jalen Moore they just paid as their left tackle. They need another guy in the room.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love that pick. I can't say anything. That's a pick I would have wanted at 32. And again, continue to build that offensive line that was a bit of a sore spot
I just want
down
to
the stretch of the season.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I was talking about the devil on my shoulder with James Pierce. Is there one at rank 27 who's doing the same thing to you? Because that's just what your team does.
Okay, so it's funny that you say that because that's the exact pick that I am gonna make. You look at the board and you say, well, we have need at the position. He has a red G on his helmet, and he's good enough to be taken here. I mean, Howie loves his Georgia guys.
I mean, they're looking at the board going, there's no red cheese close to him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna.
Anybody
Yeah,
like Jared
absolutely.
Wilson?
Yeah, that's an easy pick for me. That's the pick I would have went. So I'm glad that you asked that question because it absolutely is the devil on Howie Roseman's shoulders right now. But yeah, this is the last mock draft that you guys will see from the both of us. Last first round mock draft that you will see from just the both of us. And then next week will be our 2-rounder.